Well, what do you know? My internet cut out. Just randomly, or the app did, I don't know. Just, just did weirdness. Hang on, I'll be right back, guys. I might ask Mum something. I'm back. But yeah, the thing crashed, so... Yeah, the thing just randomly cut out. Okay then. Well, it's going to be on Disney Plus very soon. So yeah. So continuing on, let's see what other bad games they have. So as I said before, they wrecked up Wacky Races with a PS2 game, that Blast Entertainment. And not only that, they wrecked up 2 other Hanna-Barbera shows. They wrecked up the Flintstones with the Flintstones Bedrock Racing, which I think might be a reskin of the other one. I'm not sure if they share the same developer. And Dastardly and Muttley Operation Pigeon Pursuit. Just no. way of ruining licensed properties Blast. And of course some of their more well-known ones, like their Universal license, where An American Tail got wrecked by Blast, and with Sony, Jumanji. Yep, why did we need a Jumanji video game? There was no point at all. Although, we did get a new one for 8th gen consoles, and this game is terrible as well. It's just your generic licensed game. It's overrated, overhyped, I mean, and yeah. And of course, and another pretty awful one would happen to be the Beverly Hills Cop licensed game, where for some reason I've forgotten the guy's name, the protagonist of the movie, but he's whitewashed for some reason, so they made a black guy a white guy. Pretty racist if you'd ask me. He didn't even need to be whitewashed. And then we have another Warner Brothers licensed game, Johnny Bravo's Haka Mega Mighty Ultra Extreme Datorama, which I bet is also a terrible game. Anything with Blast name on it, you know is going to be bad. It was also released in the US as well by another game publisher, Mumbo Jumbo, I think it's called. National Geographic got wrecked by them as well, with Safari Kids Africa, distributed in Spain by Virgin Play SA. Here's the UK version, by the way. Just no. Properties you can think of at the time got wrecked by them. Bob the Builder got wrecked by Blast with a silly old iToy game, which I bet looks like garbage. And they made another one, which I bet is also bad as well. And Thomas and Friends Day at the Races, which I've seen as well, and it also looks terrible. And I do own one game from well, 2 games from Blast, but here's one of them, and that's this one. This game is just, it's an insult to the cartoon. Jetix should have been ashamed of themselves for signing a deal with Blast and making this train wreck of a game. It's a reskin of their Captain Scarlet. It's Blast Entertainment title. That's it. Well, I'm gonna have to say, but there is one decent game Blast made, but it's just a reskin of another game, and that's Jetix Puzzle Buzzle, which itself is a reskin of another puzzle game, which I do own. I've forgotten the name though. But that's all I can say, because it's also as bland as that one. Even even though Disney, luckily enough, never got involved with Blast, there's still been a few bad licensed games they've made. So basically, back in 2000, Ubisoft developed a game called Donald Duck Quack Attack, which is basically a Crash Bandicoot-esque platform with Donald Duck in it. It was fun. Then came the sequel, PK Out of the Shadows, which is not fun at all. Really not fun at all. Oh, hey Aaron. But of course, back to Blast. I do say that the worst video game they've ever produced happened to be none other than Little Britain the video game. Who thought that was a good idea? Just seriously, why make a Little Britain video game? The show barely has anything to do with it, so yeah. So all they did was make a bland selection of mini-games full of really gross and offensive content that the show has. Bad idea. Really bad idea. And it just fails miserably. I thought the game you were probably talking about was that Weakest Link game, because Traveller's Tales developed that, but it was published by Activision. You said that you were going to be on a CBBC show, Corey. So it seems like that we found out what show it is now. Yeah. So, as I said before, with so game show licensed games also tend to be on the mixed side. Yeah, one of them that did get released was a licensed game based off of The Weakest Link, which was released on the PC, PS1, and PS2 in 2001. The PS2 version never left Europe. The PS1 and PC versions came to North America as well. I think they came out around the same time the US version premiered on NBC. Weird thing is that you don't actually get to create your own character. They give you a selection of characters that already exist within the game. I think they all have their own voices and such, but it's just weird that they don't allow you to create your own characters, so you have to choose between, as I said, a pre-selected selection of characters. But it's your typical trivia question game, so it's understandable. Next up but yeah, the most successful game show licensed video game was the Millionaire games from Eidos. They sold like hotcakes. And I mean it, they really did sell like hotcakes. And that's because since the show was really successful, a video game was made, and so I think it was the best-selling video game of all time in the UK at one point. And this includes the PC and Dreamcast versions as well. Yep, Millionaire on the Dreamcast. That's bit niche. So that was successful, so they made another one, the second edition, from the same developer and the same publisher. Brings you this. And it was also on the PS2 as well. I might have showed off the PS2 version at one point. That's a DS game, Aaron. And I saw Paul Robertson because you followed my account. But just something about the PS2 version does fall into the uncanny valley. Like, here's what I'm going to say. Here's a screenshot. I do like the fact that the text and the bits itself actually look like the show rather than the PS1 version, but the CGI render of Chris Tarrant looks creepy. It just looks creepy. The picture alone shows it doesn't look too bad, but when you see his mouth move, it just feels scary. And then next up came the Party Edition, which came out in 2006. And that featured weird characters answering questions. I'd say that is the most interesting one, weirdest one of all. Wii Second Edition actually allows you to use your Miis rather than like using pre-made characters. And you could answer calls on your Wiimote. Very interesting idea from the developers. But I don't think it might have been any good though. So yeah. The Weakest Link and Millionaire weren't the only games that got the same treatment. Family Fortunes got the same treatment as well in 2001, with a PC game published by none other than Infogrames. Yep, Family Fortunes PC game, with Les Dennis himself in it. This is what the So here's the cover art. It uses the 2000 logo and the 2000 set. And this is basically a UK version of the 2000 Family Feud license game from Hasbro. Except it has different graphics, but it is the exact same game, just with a refreshed engine and such. The weird thing is that it doesn't mention ITV anywhere. All it mentions is Fremantle Media, but they didn't produce the UK version. Well, the Les Dennis series, at least, and the older ones. Only ITV did. So it's strange why their name doesn't appear anywhere. But just from alone, the graphics just look weird, and I don't think it just... And I think it's at least fun if you knew what you were doing. So yeah, that came, and then came a Wii game in 2009, I think, based on the Vermin K series, and it was also on the DS as well. Well, I'm guessing Mindscape felt like that was a good idea. So yeah. But yeah, Jack Williams, as I said before, the game is a UK version of Hasbro Interactive's Family Feud game that was released in the States. It was developed by the same company as well, Artex Studios. You've never watched The Dumping Ground. I don't think it's really the sort of thing I'd like. And no offense to you, Corey. So... And then next up comes another game show license game for the DS. Made by one of my most hated publishers, Global Software Publishing. It's an Eggheads license game. Yep, they made an Eggheads license game. It sucks. It really does suck. Don't buy it. Well, don't. Well, I think Steve Harvey isn't too bad, even though some of the stuff he says can be a bit offensive at times in Family Feuds kind of things. And then there's another one. Countdown, the DS game. Why? I have no idea. Mindscape didn't even get a license to use the presenters, so no, I've forgotten when this era was. I think the game was released in 2009 or 2010. I'm just reading the date. Copyright 2009. It says Granada Ventures, so I'm guessing it was produced very early on in the Jeff Sterling era of the show. But I'm guessing Mindscape couldn't get the likeness of Jeff Sterling or Rachel Riley, so they just decided to well, have no hosts at all, which is weird because the Family Fortunes license game had Vermin K on it, so yeah. So maybe they just couldn't get the rights to use Jeff or and Rachel. I thought BAM Entertainment published Powerpuff Girls video games. I'm guessing Global Software Publishing re-released them after BAM went out of business or something. There's no Skatoony license game. But yeah, BAM Entertainment didn't do a very good job with their Powerpuff Girls license games. Yeah, but yeah, Blue is fair that, yeah, those are DVD games. They're worse than the video games any day. So yeah. So yeah, BAM Entertainment published two Powerpuff Girls games for consoles. One was Chemical Extraction, and the other was Reddish Rampage. Chemical Extraction is too easy at times, and sometimes it goes into a bit of a difficulty spike, and it's really short, and it hurts your thumbs easily because it's just a button masher. Reddish Rampage isn't fun at all, isn't fun either. I actually tried to play it. I didn't find it fun whatsoever. So it was another dud. I think there was actually a Crystal Maze PC game made by. Want to know the really funny thing? Crystal Maze did get a video game, but it's more or less like an adventure game, like one of those old classic adventure games. And it was made by none other than Shurston. Yep, the same Shurston that makes educational games for schools. Yep, they actually made an educational game, an adventure game, even though they were mainly focused on educational stuff. Weird, isn't it? I think it was Shurston's only non-educational game, but I think it might have been an educational game as well. Because the rest they all made, even if they do look like video games, are educational as well. Now let's go over to DVD games. DVD games were a huge fad back when the first ones came out. Many of them are terrible as well. I'd say one of the worst ones happened to be the first Family Fortunes DVD game. The cover looked like this. It had the same ball DVD games had, but the cover featured graphics that looked like the 2002 graphics. But then when you look at the screenshots on the back, it all falls apart. This is another cash grab. And I'll tell you why. So here's the back. It looks normal, but just looking at the graphics alone, they look boring. They don't look like, sure enough, it does look like the show a bit, but not much. And let me explain why. So, let me try and find a review, because I've sort of forgotten how this game plays, because I've not played it, but just from my knowledge alone, it is not fun to play. So first of all, the game doesn't actually keep your score on the game itself. You actually have to write it down. And there's no Les Dennis at all. Instead, you just get some random voice narrating it over it all. And the biggest lie of all, the cover, claims it says this. It says, featuring the famous wrong answer sound. But you don't hear it anywhere at all. How much of a lie is that? That was a big lie that they just made you. They claimed. But yeah, it just seemed like Universal just put more time into making the cover art more than the game itself. So, according to the review, this review, it says featuring the famous wrong answer sound, whereas it in the game never heard it once. Plus, having a DVD game where you have to keep your own score is pathetic. Yes. And basically, the big money round is butchered up. Because this time you have to guess the top answers and you don't get any marks for the second answers. That doesn't work. In reality, how big money works is that you got to try and make sure you get a score up to 200 to win the jackpot. Not how that DVD game makes it work, but who knows? Maybe they couldn't make it work like that. But then comes the upstarts DVD games, which I've heard are terrible. So back in 2005 they made a Bullseye DVD game and a Catchphrase DVD game, which Lewis Fur is talking about. And want to know the bad thing about this DVD game? Well, the aiming, it's very poorly programmed. And it's so slow. And it has terrible graphics, so it was another rushed job. And it's a shame because the cover art actually looks very good. It even comes with a little bendy bully, but I actually knew someone who owned this game. The bendy bully actually fell apart. It just broke, fell apart. So yeah, this just is very badly made. And then in 2006, came across this game, classic Bullseye. This was actually published by Upstarts as well, but this later version was published by ITV DVD. And I heard it plays a lot better. This is what the and here is a review from back in 2006 or something. If I can find it, that is. So the same person who reviewed the Upstarts one said, let me review this person's review of the Upstarts version of the Bullseye DVD game, comparing that to the other one. So for the Upstarts Bullseye game, the reviewer says, dearie me, what a waste of money this turned up to be. Slow, boring, useless aiming. I could aim better in a newer and better version. Because they didn't appear in the 2005 Upstarts version. Whilst the 2006 version, they both do. And then and then there was a 2007 version, which is also quite interesting as well. So yeah. And now here comes the catchphrase DVD game. Oh. I'm just waiting for my internet to connect up. So this is what the review is like. So they have so someone said DVD games are made for machines are made for games, but a few companies managed to get decent results. But Upstarts has failed again, almost as badly as they did with the first Bullseye game. Where's Roy for crying out loud? These things are such a rip-off, and it looks like it took a month to make it cost about £1,000 at the present. So how much do they charge? And what's the other one? I thought Bullseye was bad, but this looked like it was thrown together in a matter of minutes. I recommend you never buy any DVD game made by Upstarts. They're badly put together and played really badly. As with no Jim Bowen on Bullseye, we don't get any Roy Walker on this one either. Yes. Don't. And as I said, don't buy these games. They're not worth your time at all. But then came a 2007 version, which actually is a whole lot better. So there's actually a very nice detailed review of the 2007 version of the Catchphrase DVD game, which says this: Don't be fooled by the modern logo on the box either. Thanks to the computer wizardry, Roy Walker presents the game from the much better. You can play by yourself or with 2 players or teams. Along with Mr. Chips, Roy introduces 3 near identical rounds with only points values really changing. Sadly, the bonus catchphrases are normal rounds, so no selecting squares off the board here. Then, provided if you have enough points, is on to the end game where you have 3 chances to cross a 9-square board. Cross through the middle square and you win a virtual holiday where Roy does his best to sell you an unlikely holiday destination. Any other line lets you watch the old Snake Charmer outtake watered down in full. The only slight outback is that the answer is given to every catchphrase and they have to be honest and tell Mr. Chips whether you got it right or wrong or what team won. Roy Walker's excellent. And he once again says his own catchphrases. Say what you see, if you say it, and all the old buzzard noises and musical jingles are present and correct. Okay, so that's what this person said about that one. I've had a look at the at some of the videos from the 2007 version, and I think they're actually really good. I think any fan of the game show will actually enjoy that one. But then comes... But yeah, that is a good DVD game, but now we're going over back to bad ones. We have a Play Your Cards Right DVD game. It sounds good, but it's not good at all, either. And this is what the review says. Unbearably slow. Boring, slow, lackluster, and no Brucey. The narrator of the game sounds bored as we are. And then there was a 2008 version, which is basically the same game. I think it was made by the same company as well. Warner Vision International. Yep, the same company that published that released that Playhouse Disney music DVD. Published this Play Your Cards Right game. Just no. The 2008 version, I think, was made by a different company, actually. Despite the fact it looks identical. It was released by a company called DVD Pro. And I'd say the franchise that had the most DVD games was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which had about which had 6 DVD games made for it. Now, and I'll show you all 6 on Amazon. Actually, it's 7. Yep, there is. So the very first DVD game ever made happened to be this Millionaire game, released in November of 2002. And it was released by Zoo Digital Publishing. Yep, the former guys at Infogram Sheffield House published a Millionaire video game. DVD game. Then in 2003, the first one made by Universal was made, which is also just called World's First DVD Game, even though it's not, because of the Zoo Digital one, Universal Pictures UK. Next up, in 2004, we get the second edition, a multiplayer edition with all new questions. The things they do right with these Millionaire licensed DVD games is that they actually use live action footage and not rendered CGI of Chris Tarrant. So yeah, it's neato. Then in 2005 we get the third edition called the Family Picture Edition, which allows kids to play the game with junior questions. And then they continued on with more questions in 2006 with the Family Entertainment Edition, where not only you would get adult and junior questions, you would also get general knowledge, sport and entertainment questions as well. There's also a little trailer as well, which requires a Flash player. And then in 2007 we have the Real Cash Prize Edition, which is basically similar to the other one, but this one has has some additional features, like it has audio questions now, and there's also the Switch Lifeline, which has appeared occasionally on the English version before it, well, in the UK version before it became an official Lifeline in 2010. And then the last one that was released was this one, the 10th anniversary special edition with various questions from the first decade. And this one I heard was not fun to play, because I heard these remotes actually didn't work very well, and they were a pain to connect. Oh, hey, yeah, that's one. So about that player Disney thingy. So yeah, 7 Who Wants to Be a Millionaire video game. I mean, DVD games. Well, basically, Snoopy had an accident, and sadly, he's actually damaged it for real. I can't repair him. So for the next parade in June or something, I'll replace him with Charlie Brown, because Charlie Brown hasn't been in my parade for a little while, and I'll make an all new Charlie Brown. Oh, okay then. It'll probably be on display in my little thingy that there is, but as of now, I think I will have to dispose him, because he's just too damaged for me to display into my little slippy thing where most of my retired floats stay in. What, are you talking about that Fimo but Ryan the Bunny Rabbit I made for my first show, or are you talking about the Balloonicle I made for my parade? The Balloonicle, I don't know where that went, because I think I lost it somewhere because it started to wear out. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, Harry. Seems like Harry Murray, aka Agent Bertso, has a new video up. But Erin's not here, so I don't know. And it says it'll be brilliant. Huh, looks cool if you'd ask me. another game which I have also played. So I'm going to go back to talking about games, but we'll see, Thunder Coasters. But yeah, another one I'll talk about for licensed games is this one, Strawberry Shortcake: The Sweet Dreams game. This actually doesn't have anything to do with the Sweet Dreams movie. Its name and the cover art. Well, the name basically the cover art is basically artwork from the Sweet Dreams movie itself, but it has nothing to do with the movie. It has its own storyline. Unlike Strawberry Shortcake Sweet Dreams for the GBA, which is basically an adaptation of the movie done as a video game, and it was published by a different company, Majesco, whilst the PS2 game was published by the Game Factory. If you want me to at some point, would you like me to do a let's play of sorts of this game? I don't speak Irish, Aaron. I'm only dressing up in green and holding Good Luck Bear because I call it Good Luck Day. Thingy. So this is some of the screenshots. It's just a generic platformer made for kids. So yeah, there's nothing special, but at least it's there for the good thing. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, cool. But yeah, I'm guessing. I wonder why. A couple of months ago, he was acting like a jerk to Corey or something. Were they in a fight or something? But if he's gone back to normal, that's fine. I don't have many Mega Drive games. All I have is Cool Spot, Spot Goes to Hollywood, and Jimmy White's Snooker, I think it's called. I've forgotten that name. Oh, that's fine. That's great. He must have been jealous or something. Not too sure. It's neat. Yeah, it is neato. That would be too difficult, Aaron. I'm not a massive video game expert at times. I do now, of course, most of them I do play, but I'm not a full-fledged gamer right now. Okay, then. Yeah, I know. So, there's actually a few Playhouse Disney branded video games, but they don't have much. But they're just educational games based off of shows. So there's, I think, 2 Stanley games. There's a Wiggles game that was published by Disney in the US. There was a Rolly Polly Ollie game, a Book of Pooh game, and that's pretty much it. There was also a Mickey Mouse game. Oh, it was My Disney Kitchen, which was developed by Atlas. I already looked up that game, Thunder Coasters, earlier in the stream. It's not fun at all. So, nothing much here. And so the only kind I could probably say could count as one is this 3-pack of Playhouse Disney, of Disney Interactive titles, branded as such. And it's just a compilation of 3 games that were already released. These were budget versions from my knowledge, because they say they have the soft key logo on them. I think the soft key logo appeared on re-releases of I don't worry, I forgot what I was going to say. It seemed like that Rolly Polly Ollie game was published by Disney Interactive as well in the UK, even though Nelvana held the rights to the series. DVDs. Well, Bear in the Big Blue House got a video game from Ubisoft and Jim Henson Interactive. It doesn't make any mention of Disney at all on it. And as for DVDs, well, the series got a few DVD releases. There are a few from Columbia TriStar, and the rest were from Disney. The Disney Bear in the Big Blue House DVDs came out around the time they could have been like an educational virtual world thingy that Disney could have developed, featuring Big Dave and Little Alex and maybe Jason and Sarah Louise as well, but that wasn't ever made. It's just a form of my imagination. So, as I said before, the Bear in the Big Blue House DVDs were originally released by Columbia TriStar, because Disney didn't own it at the time, but when Disney purchased the franchise alongside the Muppets, Disney started releasing them. As for Roly Poly Oly, that one sort of depends, because in the UK it was released by mostly various different companies. So the first ones were released by in the US by in the UK by Just Entertainment, aka or through Tempo Preschool. Then they were released by just trying to see what this company's called. Then they were released by Maverick Entertainment, who released a lot of Nelvana products on DVD at the time, and then eventually Fremantle Media took over. Whilst in the US it was released by Disney. So next one is Out of the Box, which I think had 3 VHS releases. I don't think it had any DVD releases, though. And that was only in the United States. I'm guessing the show was a bit too niche, but it's on Disney Plus now, so that's not much of a problem. Disney never owned Fraggle Rock. Well, unless you count the UK version. It was always owned by the Jim Henson Company. But, like, the later Playhouse Disney shows, like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Handy Manny, Little Einsteins, etc., did get DVD releases in the UK. They're actually pretty easy to get if where you were looking. And some of them have been reissued as well in Disney Junior packaging. That's right, Simpsons clips through Jim Henson Video, because of a worldwide distribution deal. And this distribution deal always reminds me of the one Disney had with Deke Entertainment. Like, here is a Disney released Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog VHS from the States. Although it was only a United States only deal. It did, Aaron, on that DVD CD thing I have. Although it's just music from shows. I'm guessing the Summer Adventures DVD has an assortment of episodes and such. This is interesting. We'll never know. Never knew this was released on VHS. It's the Wizard of Oz, We're Off to Save the Wizard thingy, VHS. Released in 2005. So yeah, this was actually a very late release. Wizard of Oz Volume 2, it says on the sticker label. Wonder if Mario's Movie Madness had a VHS release as well. Don't think it. I think it did, but I can't find any pictures of it. All I can find is the Mario's Movie Madness DVD. That was really the End Circle version. But for me, with the copy of Mario's Movie Madness I have the Sterling Entertainment version with the animation station suffix on the top. So it had episodes of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Jake and Neverland Pirates, Special Agent Oso, Handy Manny and Jungle Junction, and 2 episodes of Minnie's Bowtoons. I have absolutely nothing to say about that DVD, other than it's not for me. Alrightio, send it to me, and I'll have a little look. I'm just having a look at a Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad VHS from Italy. That wasn't released by Disney, it was released by some other company. And even though the even though the Deke logo on it says Deke Entertainment LP. Yeah, Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad was basically Deke's attempt to make a Power Rangers-esque show, and it wasn't too bad, but the same can be said for Tattoo Teenager Low Budget, and is even worse. Yes, I do, except that version alongside the Saturn version are actually quite hard to find. It might have been after it, Lewis Fur. I think it premiered in September of 2005. And now here comes a BBC branded Make Way for Noddy VHS. Really? Just look at this. I don't get this. This never aired on the BBC. It aired on Channel 5 in the UK. Why is this branded as such? And it's got screenshots from the CGI series. Yes, it's a PBC branded Make Way for Noddy VHS. Released by Roadshow and ABC Video. This is just odd. Never seen anything like it. The BBC didn't even distribute the series. Just really. Who knows? Maybe they distributed the series outside of the UK or something, but I have no idea. I just think it looks odd seeing the BBC logo on a Make Way for Noddy DVD. I mean VHS. And I only noticed it because I was looking for I was looking at Street Sharks and VHS from Australia as well. Let's see what UV made for me. Something to do with Care Bears, probably. Or maybe... Let's see. Neato! Neato indeed. I had a feeling it would have been Playhouse Disney UK. I like it. In my favourite colour as well. Yeah, that's true, Simpsons Clips 24, because Polygram's video assets were renamed to Universal, whilst the assets of Kick Video were renamed to Paramount after the Polygram buyout, but the ITC Entertainment Library and the name went off to... were purchased by Carlton. So... But Universal only owns the post-1996 to 1999 Polygram library, as MGM owns the pre-1996 library. But anyways, I think I'm going to go now, so... But before I go, I think I might as well do something I've never done before. What could that be, you might ask? Well, you'll just have to see. I'm going to load it up. There we are. This is what I was trying to find. Here we are. Now I'm going to start singing. Here I go. Ready, guys? I'm going to... Ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. It's that time again, so let's play again. Now we've seen how much fun it can be. It's that time again, let's do it all again. There's really nothing we can't be. So we all took part. We had fun making art. We made up stories from pictures that you drew. We had some funny songs that you'll soon remember. So next time join in too. So don't go away if you want to stay to see your favourite friends come out again. We'll be back very soon with lots more things to do. There's so much here for you to share in Playhouse Disney. See you soon. Yeah, see you real soon. And that's what my Dave said. What he said. See you real soon.